Hello YouTube, it's BirdOPrey5 and welcome to today's stream. I will have to shut the audio. Now, Thomas Potts says hello. Hello Thomas, you are technically number one, but just to be fair, Anti-Tracker did comment about 45, 50 minutes ago before I started, but he did comment at 3:25 p.m. Eastern to claim the first place prize. But Thomas, you know I like you. You got the official spot. First person to come after you start the stream. That's what really counts. Oh, you're talking to Anti-Tracker. Screw you, no $10 tonight. My game finished downloading. That's cool, Thomas. I actually, this is Call of Duty World War II for PlayStation 4. I started the campaign mode today. And wow. If you have not started the campaign mode, you're storming the beach on D-Day, and it is hell. I mean, it is hell trying to get to the beachhead. People are just being shot all around you. You're being shot. It took me 15 or 20 tries to make it to the beach. One or two times I thought maybe if I just hide behind this tank that the Germans will eventually stop shooting, because either way I looked, to the left or my right, people were just getting mowed down by gunfire. It was not safe. It wasn't safe to go either direction. It wasn't safe to make a straight run for it. Nothing I did was working in the end. I think it was just by sheer luck, sheer coincidence. I happened to make it to the beachhead, and then you've got to clear a bunch of bunkers. And again, it took me quite a few tries to even get past the first bunker. And that's where I saved the game, because I had to start to get ready for this stream. Now, I did play it earlier in multiplayer mode, but alone. You can do multiplayer, but actually create bots instead of actual people, so I don't have to embarrass myself playing against real people just to get the hang of multiplayer. And there's a zombie mode, which I played some of. Now, I'm not going to say I did great in any of them, but at least I was getting some kills, which is far, far, far better than Call of Duty 4 Black Ops. And I like that it's a little simpler, the controls. You've got your two different grenades, you've got your weapon, you've got switch weapon, the scope or the sight. Your prone, your jump, your crouch, your first aid kit, but that's really it. There's not a heck of a lot more. So I mean, that's controls I can live with, I can deal with, for lack of a better word. Can two people play in campaign mode? I don't believe so, Thomas. No, campaign mode is all different than multiplayer. Oh, by the way, if you want to friend me on PlayStation, I am just BirdOPrey5 on. For anybody out there who wants to friend me to play it at some point in the future, whether it's Call of Duty World War II or Call of Duty Black Ops or some other game I may have or get. It's just the same name, Bird of Prey 5, the letter O in the middle, the number 5 at the end. Yeah, you can friend me on PlayStation Network. Um, if I don't know, like if your name isn't Thomas Potts, and it's like Jerkmaster 56 or something, I have no idea who you are, and if possible, I don't even know if it's possible. Just put in the message who I know you as. Excuse me. Cough has been a little rough these last few days. Yeah, so if you can just put in how I might know you, so I know to accept you. Not that I think there's been much spam going on the site, but just for safety. Um, so, uh, Thomas says I have Battlefront 1, which is a World War One game. I've had good memories on that one, except flying. I'm bad at that. I'd love to have a World War One or World War Two flying simulator. So, oh yes, I have my Seth Track shirt on, ordered from uh, Egotastic Fun Time. Uh, JP. JP's YouTube site and his swag. Uh, one of the very few. As much as I like Anti-Trekker and Lore Reloaded and Doomcock, I don't see myself ever going out wearing a big turd on a shirt or going out, even just sitting in my living room. Wearing a turd or Lore's face, avatar, whatever that animated image of him is, or Doomcock's mask. They're just not things I see myself wearing out. But this shirt, yeah, I'd wear this out, sure, and even better, I'll wear it when we talk about the Orville, which is what we're going to do today. So I hope if anyone here hasn't seen it or is otherwise afraid of spoilers, I love it. I love you guys when you're here, but you are going to want to steer clear of this episode. This is going to be full spoilers for part 1 of Identity, and theories on part 2. I mean, they're not spoilers because I haven't seen part 2. No one that I know has, so no one really knows what's going to happen in part 2, and the ones who do know aren't talking. So, they are definitely part 1 spoilers. And Hector shows up, and he says Battlefront 1 is a World War One game, as Space 1999 is a NASA documentary. Thomas says, I like tanks. Is Battlefront 1 the game where they put women on the front lines? And Thomas says, is your avatar a spaceship? It is. It is a spaceship from Galaga, the old 80s game, I believe. I have not updated my avatar on the PlayStation Store since, I don't know, since I first made a PlayStation account, sometime when PlayStation 3 first came out, and I had to buy it off eBay for 3 times the price, but I was making good money at the time, and I really wanted it. Hector says Joe is a turdist. I don't remember, but they gave automatic weapons like candy. Oh, okay. No, I see. The thing is, I thought Battlefront 1 was a fairly old game, and recently, apparently, some game came out, and I thought it was a World War II game, but that they had women serving on frontline combat roles for a World War II game, which is obviously ridiculous because women were not in frontline combat. They're barely in frontline combat now in the United States. Obviously, some other countries like Israel, they have women serving all areas, but it was completely ridiculous for the time. And if you're gonna make a game based on a time period, it doesn't make a lot of sense to just pretend that women were considered equals on the battlefield. They weren't. They still pretty much aren't, but legally, in fact, I have, yes, this. I was reading this the other day, that in the United States, the federal court has ruled that a male-only draft is unconstitutional now. Should there ever be another draft, God forbid, in the United States, as of now, they would have to make it a co-ed draft. Yes, both your sons and your daughters, your brothers, your sisters, your friends of both genders, I assume all genders if you want to get technical, California, they'd all be eligible, apparently, which is a terrible, terrible thing for the military. Obviously, I think if anything, this is just a big FU to the military, and more importantly, like we're never going to get in another major war, at least not a ground war, because we are never going to be able to do another draft, at least not as long as this is the law of the land. Of course, Supreme Court could overrule it. You never know. They could pass some sort of amendment. Unlikely, but possible. So yeah, I mean, and you know what? I'm not necessarily against the idea. I'm against the idea of drafting women, sure, but I'm not against the idea of making it very, very hard to have another huge ground war. Kind of just going to force people's hands. We're going to be using more drones and more guided missiles and very few troops. And I don't think it's going to be all that long before we've got robots fighting and taking and holding territory that humans used to. And what a perfect segue into Identity, Part 1. Were the Kalons originally created as soldiers of the biological race that originally created them? Could be. Especially the ones with those nifty head cannons. They look like soldiers. They very well could have been original design military weapons. Here's my thoughts. There's so much to digest. Oh, and I've got my glasses on. That's why I'm having trouble reading the text. They're good enough. So much to digest after part one. I don't. It's hard to even start. I mean, what are the Kalons? Where do we stand now? What's going to happen in part two? I'm gonna throw out some theories. I'll get to the comments in a few minutes. Um, but I guess in hindsight, Kalon, Cylon, we really shouldn't have been so surprised. They were pretty damn close in naming them. Of all the names they could have chosen, Kalon and Cylon, a C, a K instead of a C sound. Yeah, in hindsight, I guess we should have all been aware of this, but only to my knowledge, Anti-Tracker was able to correctly deduce the entire plot after watching only a few minutes. Oh, Anti-Tracker, you're here. Welcome. We were just talking about you. Um, Thomas Potts says, I think Isaac will turn against his people. And he also says he's too old to be drafted. And friend request sent. Thank you, Thomas. I will. I'll check it. I'll try after this. We'll see. Thomas says, I'm still waiting for the draft Democrats said Bush was 100% doing. Right. Actor says, Thomas is using drones against your nation. They crossed the frontier doing his first doing this noise. First. Yes. Yes. Anti-Tracker says, hey guys. Thomas Potts says Luke is supplying the weapons. I wouldn't be surprised. French bastard. Supplying my enemies with weapons. and I sent them Ovaltine. I sent you Ovaltine. And you're still attacking me. There are whole countries in Africa, Thomas, that would love to have all the Ovaltine that I sent your nation, and you stabbed me in the back. Hector says, that means Thomas tanks have 1 gear forward and 5 gears in reverse. Ah, yes, the French tanks. Anti-Trigger says, hey Thomas, good news. I'm going to do another Trek Yards video. Is this one, you going to do it? Are they actually going to put it up though, Anti-Tracker? Because that seems to be the problem. You do them, but then they don't actually ever go up. At least half of them don't. Anti-Trigger, I agree. Isaac will be a turncoat on his people. Anti-Ryan Johnson says, hello out there. Anti-Trigger says, because of his love for the Doctor and the kids. And Thomas says, an Anti-Tracker, is it the Borg Queen? I'm sure it's not. On STD, they don't like criticism on their channel. Oh yeah, he can't be doing an STD rant on Trek Yards. Hector says, I'm worried, Anti-Tracker. People say that MacFarlane is a romantic. He is a romantic. I mean, if you haven't been able to tell that in the past season and a half, I don't know. But here's my theory. And I mean, I've had a couple. But I'm going to double down on this theory, and I know it's not the greatest theory because it kind of cheapens everything we've seen up to this point, but it is the only theory I have heard, and it's not that I've heard this theory. I was thinking it immediately once it was clear that the Kalons were evil. I started thinking, well, what's really going on here? So my theory is this, and I might be wrong. Some ways I hope I'm wrong, but in other ways I hope I'm right. And I know Anti-Trigger said this would just feel like a massive cop out, and it might be if they do it wrong. But I think that everything from the time they were scanned, where Gordon was afraid he was getting cancer, I think that wasn't so much a scan, but that they were actually being kind of transported or scanned and deposited somehow into a giant environmental simulator, basically a holodeck, and that everything that happened from that point going forward was and is simulated, and that basically this is the final test as to whether Kaylon will join the Union. And I've expanded upon it in my head just a little bit. And, obviously they borrow heavily from the Borg. They borrow heavily from Star Trek. They're clearly borrowing from Battlestar Galactica a bit. But here's my thoughts. They are testing the Union. They are going to test. They're going. Isaac is going to, quote unquote, be a turncoat. He is going to be helping the people on the Orville somehow. But I believe this is also part of the simulation. And I believe, and I know I'm stretching it. I'm out on a limb here. I've gone off into the desert without a flashlight, and I don't know where I am anymore. But I'm going to put it out there because you know what? If I'm right, great. I have it recorded. I have it on tape as being 4:34 p.m. on Tuesday, 2 days before the episode comes out. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and everybody will forget I ever said this. But Isaac is going to give Ed or the crew some type of solution. Also, just FYI, Yaphet. Where was Yaphet? Yaphet is hiding. Yaphet never liked Isaac. Yaphet never liked Isaac. He always thought there was something off about Isaac. So Yaphet is in hiding. We didn't see him. We didn't see him at all. He wasn't, and he would have been one of the characters we were seeing either fighting back or being led to the shuttle bay. You would think. So Yaphet is going to play a role in taking back the ship. More than that, now they think they're really taking back the ship. So there's going to be some serious stuff. There's going to be deaths. There's going to be some serious crap going on. But in the end, it's all going to be meaningless to a point. But this is the test. This is what they're being tested on. They are going to give Isaac probably is going to give to Ed or someone on the crew a kill command, a kill code, a virus, something that would wipe out all the Kaylon for good. And that's going to be the test. Does Ed deploy, uh, kind of like in Star Trek, this virus to genocide the Kaylons to save Earth, or does he refuse that? Um, does he say genociding one race to save another is not right? Um, even if Earth gets destroyed, the fight goes on. There's other humanoid biological races out there, others that aren't going to necessarily fall as quickly as Earth. We know that Alara and Isaac were quote unquote evenly matched, and I went back. I rewatched the Orville a lot. I mean, when I have nothing else to do at night, I put on a random episode. So it wasn't long ago. I rewatched the episode. Alara had 16 wins to Isaac's 14 wins at arm wrestling. Now Alara was already slipping. She had already lost like 20% of her muscle mass and 5% of her bone density. So you have to figure, in the last few weeks, she was maybe 10% down or 15% down. So she was getting weaker, and she still had a better record than Isaac. Further, as established in the season 1 episode about a girl, where Alara is on the stand in the Mocklin court, and she impresses the Mocklins with her super strength, and she said, well, I'm a girl and I can bend this chunk of metal that you can't bend, but the Mocklin solicitor correctly and confirms that, says, yes, you are come from a planet with higher gravity, so you have higher strength, but isn't it true that even on your world, all things equal, a male is more powerful than you? And yes, that was true. So Alara is the strongest person, or was the strongest person, on the Orville. She had an edge on Isaac physically, and she was the smallest, littlest Selayan you can find. So the new woman, no doubt, has an even bigger edge, and Selayan males, more than likely, especially if there's particularly strong Selayan males, or even particularly strong Selayan females, larger, bigger, more muscular, of both sexes, but certainly of men, they should be able to take out Isaac, every single time, right? Isaac had a losing record, slightly. They were just about evenly matched, but he was a little worse at the weakest physically. I mean, yeah, she had training. I'm sure she had some type of martial arts training, some security training. So yeah, maybe she has a better luck at a fight. But I mean, an arm wrestle doesn't really require a lot of martial arts training. So it's just a pure test of strength. So strength-wise, Salayans should be able to kick the crap out of the Kaylons. Now, yeah, the Kaylons do have head cannons, but there would probably be some type of noticeable physical delay or slowness, some type of physical effect if they were fighting in Selayan gravity. And just in general, if Salayans got onto a Kalan ship or something, if they can evade the firing, if they have, now they are very, very smart scientists, so perhaps they have some type of defensive material that could defend themselves from the Kalan attacks, and if they could just get their hands on a Kalan, they could probably rip a Kalan's head right off. So I don't think the Kalons are all that untouchable. To humans, yes. To Salayans, no. To Mocklins, perhaps. Bortus, although he looks big and tough, and I'd say sure Bortus is probably stronger than a human, but I don't think he, I don't think anybody ever claimed he was as strong or even nearly as strong as Alara. So I don't know if the Mocklins would really have much, but we'll see. But it doesn't matter because that's my thought, my theory, and we need to figure out who can kick, just in case I'm wrong, who can kick Kalan ass. And my guess is if it comes to it, it's the Salayans. The Salayans are going to have to take point here. And they do not like being in a military, but I'm sure they'd like being dead even less. So, that's probably gonna cause a lot of Kalons, a lot of Salayans to rethink their stance on the military when faced, if faced with an actual threat from the Kalons. Now, it would be interesting, sure, if this war turns out to be real, and I just can't see it happening because they have such a perfect formula right now for the people on the ship that if they removed Isaac, or even if they just turned Isaac's race, that Isaac was a crazy fanatic bent on killing all humans for the last 2 years, it irreversibly changes the dynamic of the ship, of the show, and I don't want it to change. It is so good the way it is now. And you know what? This is not Game of Thrones. So yeah, Game of Thrones, you can get away with killing a main character and fine, but not every show should be or needs to be Game of Thrones. We already have the loss of one of the most beloved characters of the show with Alara leaving the show. We definitely not going to, definitely, I don't know definitely, but there hasn't even been rumor of Isaac leaving the show, of the actor leaving the show. So it's either the best kept secret in Hollywood, or more likely that by the end of Identity Part 2, there's a magic reset button or something that Isaac stays on the ship at the very least. And in my opinion, more than likely, Isaac and the Kalons remain a powerful, not ally, but not enemy of the Union. They're going to continue more or less how they've been, is my guess. So that's what I think. That should have given you guys plenty of time to leave a bunch of comments for me to get through. So what do you guys think? Anti-Ryan Johnson, I believe I said hello to you. If I didn't, already. Hello, Anti-Ryan Johnson. Thomas Protz. Okay, yes, the Borg Queen. Hector says yes, and he's worried about Seth MacFarlane being a romantic. Oh, right. The words. That was the other thing I was listening to. The song Gordon sings in the mess hall, wherever they're having the party for Isaac. He talks about living a lie, living. I forget the exact words. Something about he can't live a lie anymore, and it's okay. That I would something like I would even kill myself or whatever if it meant protecting you. Um, Obviously, that is some type of foreshadowing. Um, so the living the lie, I don't know. I kind of feel like that helps my simulator theory, and that I would kill myself to save you, to help you. I think that Isaac, if he gives them this, like Isaac won't be spared. Uh, Isaac won't be spared whatever this virus or shutdown thing that he gives Ed. Ed's going to have to make the call. He's got to kill all the Kalons or none of them. And I think clearly he makes the call not to kill all the Kalons, and the Kalons end up surprised. They end the simulation, and the Orville crew realize nobody's died, and the Kalons send Isaac back for more data, because they have to. They're going to say something like, "Oh, we expected only a 2.3% likelihood that the simulation would end this way. Clearly, we have more data. We have not modeled humanity correctly. So the only logical thing is to collect more data." And so they have Isaac return to his role, and he's going to be there for the foreseeable future, collecting more data. I know it's not going to be great because everybody's going to be like, all that, and it was a simulation. But you know what? What did we expect? Okay, I'm telling you now. Don't complain about it, because like best of both worlds. Captain Picard wasn't going to die. Okay, and if you thought Captain Picard was going to die, I don't know what to tell you. Captain Picard wasn't going to die in Best of Both Worlds, and I really don't think Isaac is gonna turn out to be crazy, and I think we're gonna get more or less a reset button, and I think just because they reset it next episode does not make part one any less compelling of an episode. What we felt was real. Will we feel it in part two? I find it unlikely. Just the sheer history of when you have massive cliffhangers, the second part never lives up to expectations, no matter how great the show is. Even The Simpsons in its prime, Who Shot Mr. Burns? It turned out to be Maggie, the one character who couldn't have any long-term repercussions. Absurd, but that's it's what we get. We're the ones. We know what we're going into. It's a great show. It's not going to change that much. So tone down our expectations, because something's got to reset it. Um, Hector says, and they wasted so much time uh, getting the videos up. Oh, anti-tracker. No, Hector says, and they wasted so much screen time indoctrinating Isaac with love. Anti-tracker says they do that. They do take their time getting videos up. Lol. Oh, we're talking about track yards. However, I propose 2 topics: what STD gets right and ways to improve STD. Anti-tracker, if you do either of those topics, my prediction is neither of them ever get published. That's just the way I see it. Cockings or whatever, they're gonna talk about it, and then it's never gonna see the light of day. My opinion. Thomas says sometimes track yards is like Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah, lol, yes. Anti-Trigger says, by the way, Joe, I want that shirt. Well, if you go over to Egotastic Fun Time channel, JP, I'm sure you know who he is. He sells it there. It is a very nice shirt, quite comfortable shirt. In fact, he said the colors of the rainbow all correspond to colors of Orville uniforms. Purple, blue, orange, and I don't know if I saw green, but yellow and green. And yeah, how great was it to see red shirts getting shot like they're supposed to be, and not people in blue shirts getting killed on away missions. Anti-Trigger says real ways to improve STD. Yes, penicillin. Thomas says Thomas says, I noticed that Bird of Prey quotes has the most views. Interesting. Thomas says, I think my iPad changed some words in the last one. I was going to say, Thomas, I almost replied to it and said a few typos there, buddy, but let me stay out of it, because no matter what I say, somebody's going to twist the words. Actor says, for a moment I feared the anti-tracker video titles, but of course that would be track yards. Or Steve Shives, yeah. Actor says, but Isaac talked with Prime about reached a decision, and humans didn't hear that. Yeah, it's not perfect, Hector, but there's lots of times we see things in simulations that we need not see. It's just a well-programmed simulation. Anti-Tracker, so Joe, your theory is that it is the episode of DS9, The Search. It could well be, yes. The Dominion has everybody in chairs, and they're trying to see what would happen. Although, no, kind of. But The Search was bad guys looking to see if they could possibly take over without a major war starting. So that's not it, because I don't think the Kalons are bad guys. I don't think they actually murdered the original biological population of their planet. I think that's all a ruse. Thomas says, we won't forget. Well, that's good. Hector says, unless that was to throw us off track. And go Yaphet. Hector says, I don't think the invasion would be the best test. Well, it doesn't have to be, but it sounds exactly like the decision in Mass Effect. Your race or them. What kind of test is that? Well, I don't know. We'll see. But can you commit genocide against non-organics? Well, anti-tracker, I guess that's something the Kalons want to know. And is that a question humans will even ask? I think you would fail the test, anti-tracker. If I break every iPhone, did I commit genocide? Well, if the iPhones are sentient, then yes, you probably did. Sorry about that, but um, Hector says AT for sure would be first in kicking metal asses and unplugging plugs. Thomas says cell phone lives matter. Anti-tracker says yepper. Hector says perhaps anti-tracker, you hugged and kissed Mrs. AT watching the end with Singing in the Rain. Um, if it ain't killing, it ain't breathing. If it ain't killing, if they ain't breathing, says anti-tracker. It ain't killing if they ain't breathing. Very biologicalist of you, anti-tracker. Hector says if they beat the robots, wouldn't by force but with science. Could be. Hector says quantum. Anti-tracker says Singing in the Rain, almost as if he didn't see the episode of the Orville just a couple of weeks ago, where Isaac had the rain playing on the bridge of the Orville. Hector says the ending of the episode with the romance between Claire and Isaac. Oh, sorry. Anti-tracker says Mrs. Anti-tracker finds their relationship creepy. Uh-huh. Well, you know, Futurama did tell us not to date robots. And they even gave us a whole PSA as to why not. Hector says, but you practically shipping Lando L3 37 inch if only it was better written. Hector says, that's why I accused you of being a robot lover. Haha. Anti-tracker says, I think you might be misremembering thoughts of Lando and L3. Hector says, I hope it's not a simulation. And really, anti-tracker. Thomas says, do you think Joe and Alexa have a creepy relationship? Alexa, Volume 7. Alexa, I love you.
That's nice of you to say.
She didn't say it back. Hector says, you will make me search that. And he sounds like he is. Thomas says, so it's a simulation like that Family Guy episode that Stewie killed Lewis. I suppose, yeah. He's not above doing simulation episodes. I mean, last season we had a simulation episode. Hector said, from my memory, I would even have liked Lando and what's his name, Robot, if it was written like this. Hector, ring my any bells. Thomas Potts, wait. Anti-Tracker says, oh well, I'm saying that it can be done better. It does not mean I love the idea. Thomas Potts says, Maggie Shot Mr. Burns. Wait, spoiler alert. You know, I thought about saying spoiler alert, but it was an absurd thing to say a spoiler alert for. I think we all know that. Hector says sometimes Joe has the order of the chat wrong when reading them. Yeah, sometimes I do. Anti-Trigger says, I will bet you $20 it's published on Trek Yards if you win. If you win, you super chat. If you win, I will give you on PayPal. No. No, thank you. This is just a hypothetical bet. Because you could have a special in with Captain Foley. Plus, what's the time limit? If it's not published in 3 months, do I win? Or are you going to say we got to wait another 3 months? Hector says, no, Alexa does not love Joe. So sad. It's okay, Alexa.
Sorry, I don't know that one.
No one expected you to. So, are there any other theories as to what's going on the Orville? And what other races? Now, if it comes to war, if it really comes to war, and they want to wipe out all biological life, would the Krill finally agree to ally or to stop killing Union while they have a more superior enemy to kill? What else would happen? I mean, we know the Union has to win, not only because it's a show and the show must go on, but also, frankly, because we saw a human from the future last season, and although they weren't familiar with, everything that people in the Orville were familiar with, like phrases like go to hell or something, clearly they survived. Humanity survived. Ships like the Orville are known. I mean, people are looking for them. They're relics. They're and Trek Yards is live now. Who or what is the Red Angel? I wonder what they're gonna say. So yeah, I mean, we saw a glimpse of the future. Biological life still exists. Humans still exist. So clearly, whatever happens, Kalons do not take over. Hector says, in the preview, we see the Orville is attacking the Kalon ships. How does that fit into your theory? Well, I watched it. I watched the preview right after the episode, or the next day. And again on YouTube when I found it on YouTube. It's all part of the simulation. It's all part of the simulation, in my opinion. Hector sounds like the entire arc material, while the simulation means that. How would the simulation theory end, Joe? Isaac gets to Ed, or somehow gets a message to the Union or whatever that, hey, he can claim he developed feelings for, though I don't think he did, Dr. Finn and the kids, and he's got a secret way to stop the Kalons, But hey, this code is going to shut us all down permanently and race us irrevocably. Our whole race is going to die. But if you send the signal on this frequency at this time to this destination for whatever, it will work. And then they wait to see if they do it or not. And if they don't do it, they pass. And if they do it, they lose. Either way, the simulation ends, and they're told it was just a simulation and the final test. Well, I'll be right back. I need to take a pill. And let's see. What punishment do you want? I mean, what do you want to pass the time? Do you want That's Amore? Do you want California Girls? Do you want Anti-Tracker's Super Chat animation? Turd is the word. First person to tell me which of those they want gets it. Turd is the word. Okay. Anti-Tracker gets it. Be right back. Yeah, couple of good old boys, never meaning no harm. Just something, been in trouble with the law since the day they was born. Making their way the only way they know how. That's just a little bit more than the law would allow. Turd is the word. Turd. I honestly, I'm not 100% sure how this song goes. That's the best I could get. I probably shouldn't have said that much. Yeah. Thank you again, Anti-Tracker, for that, and Joshua for that animation. Will Anti-Tracker have an STD yell if it's a simulation? I don't know. You have to ask him. And what's a turd? Oh, it's turd. I wrote it in Joey's. He got it, says Anti-Tracker. And Anti-Tracker says, best song ever. Hector says, it's not Tilly, not enough space in the suit for the bosom and the hips, Captain Foley. Wow. Well, we don't know if she goes on a diet or perhaps loses weight due to being stranded on a planet or something. We don't know. But it's not Tilly. We know it's not Tilly. So, Anti-tracker says it's the truth. Well, yes, but it's also the truth. We both know it's not Tilly. Everyone here knows it's not Tilly. So, I can't wait. I can't wait till Thursday. And that's what upsets me. Because it's feel like no matter what happens, no matter what they plan, it's too anticipated already. And I feel like I'm going to be let down. I feel like part 2 is going to be a letdown. I hope I'm wrong. I hope Seth MacFarlane has found a way to keep me surprised and guessing all the way through. But I'm worried. I gotta say, I'm worried. Anti-Trigger says she would need more than a diet. Yeah, well, he didn't get that good of a look at the Red Angel. Especially when they're willing to retcon. You know, they could edit the image later and then claim that was the image they showed all along. If they're willing to erase Shenzo from the shuttlecraft and just show a completely blank shuttlecraft with no name on it in its place. So even if we've seen it in Star Trek Discovery, it doesn't mean it's going to be the same the next time they show it. Some people say the android we see after Insurrection, it's not Isaac. Anti-Trigger says, when talking about who is the Red Angel and STD, I can't wait until Thursday. No, Anti-Tracker. They were talking about the Orville. See, that's a lie. That is a lie. Especially, did you see Thomas's 20 new quotes that he put up last night? Oh, Anti-Tracker, also, I sent you on Discord. And I play it, but I hesitate that it might be copyrighted by now. We found another man who loves a Jeep, like a man loves a Jeep. You know what? I might play it. What the hell? What are they gonna do? Take away my money for this stream? Nobody's paying me. Hector says insurrection and insurrection, they are so alike. And resurrection, they are so alike. Anti-Drake says, oh, the Red Angel to Burnham. That's almost 100% at this point. That was not a lie. We were talking about how the Red Angel's not Tilly. And next thing you said was you could not wait until Thursday. There was a pause. Okay? There was a pause, like the comma in the Second Amendment. Very important. You can't just pretend it doesn't exist. Let's see. Let me see if this will even come up. Yeah, it does. Okay, well, I'm going to play this. I'm going to play this because it's a man who loves a Jeep almost as much as I do. And it's funny because it's not even his Jeep.
I'll see that thing right there in the background. That's a Jeep. That Jeep don't have no doors on it. That means you can wake up any morning, get in your car, not slam the door. You never have to worry about being blocked in or stopped in. I want a Jeep so bad. I wish I had a Jeep. I'm right here right now lusting this person's Jeep. I wish I could just gossip about the Jeep. Look how it's set. I bet it got a tire on the back. Let's see if it got a tire on the back. Guys, the Jeep even has a tire on the back. Look how fun the tire on the back look. The back look like it come out. It could be a regular Jeep. It could become a convertible Jeep. Oh my gosh, Jeep people are just like, y'all are so lucky. I bet that Jeep can climb mountains. I bet that Jeep can climb buildings. I bet that Jeep can move mountains. I bet it got great Jeep tires. Let's see if we can get a closer look. Look at the great Jeep tires on the Jeep tire. I bet when they drive, their car go, I bet when they drive, the car go, I'm hungry, then they take the car to Waffle House, or IHOP, or Cracker Barrel, or anywhere the car wanna go. If I had to guess, I'd say that Jeep had a stick shift. You know what a stick shift says? A stick shift says I can switch it up, flip it up, stick, shift it up. My car don't stick, shift it up. Only Jeep lifers understand how that feel. I ain't gonna get too close to it because I don't want to touch it. It look like a stove. You turn the stove off after the stove was on 30 minutes, and you gotta be careful. Your mama say, don't you go in there and touch that stove, because that stove's too hot to be touched. From this side of the Jeep, it looked like it got a makeup mirror on the outside. So if a woman was driving the Jeep at one point right now, she could do her makeup. She could look at what's behind her. She could look for cops. The mirror is longer than my face. I am so jealous. I hope on sound jealous. Look at the side right there. Look at that. Look at that. What is that right there? That look like an eyebrow. That Jeep eyebrows are on fleek. Jeep life is life. I don't have a Jeep. I want a Jeep. I want this Jeep. But this is my neighbor's Jeep. Wranglers make jeans, Wranglers make Jeeps. Wranglers make jeans and Jeeps. Can you imagine how good I feel if I had some Wranglers on by riding a Jeep? I'll be Wrangler down for life. If you don't drive a Jeep, you ain't really driving. We've been walking all our life. I'd rather drive a Jeep across the country than fly in a plane first class. I bet this Jeep smells like candles and lotions and oils and just good credit and approved loans and great haircuts. I don't want my car no more. I want a Jeep. I want to be a Jeep. Jeepers is life. We not living. That's living right there. That's living. Shouts out to anybody that owns a Jeep, because we just been pretending. That is living. Yes, I drive a BMW, but they driving happiness. Jeep life is the real life.
I won't get out of your head.
Yep, Jeep life is real life. Jeep life is the life you want. He'd give up that BMW to be a Jeep person. So, I saw we got Derek is here using his wife's account. Nice to see you, huh? Nice to see you, Derek. Thank you. Nice shirt. Yes, I got it from Egotastic Fun Times website, or his YouTube, which has links to his Teespring account where he sells shirts like this, among other things. It is a very nice shirt. You should check it out if you're at all interested. And certainly, I assume you know who Egotastic Fun Time is, because he's like the pinnacle of the Orville information on YouTube. So definitely a primary source for Orville news. He puts way too many hours into following people on social media and tracking down leads, and he's quitting his job and going YouTube full time. So in the next few weeks, he's already taken off. He's way up there in subs, but I really hope he can keep it up, because he's decided to make YouTube his full-time business. And that's scary. That's scary for anyone. I'm scared for him as a user, because God forbid. YouTube is just not the company you want to depend on for your living. We've seen them do terrible things without a care in the world. So I don't know. I wish him nothing but the best, but man, that's going to be, if one day, if Anti-Tracker gets up to that point, you are going to have a decision that I will not be able to envy. I will not envy. I mean, if I ever get up there, I'm not leaving a job. I mean, it'd be nice, but it's not the same. The consequences are not the same for me. Hector says, so no thoughts on the imposter Isaac theory. Actually, Hector, I do have some thoughts on that. Let me talk about that, because that was like my first theory. But then I kind of gave it up and I'm putting my eggs in the simulation theory. But first watching the episode, immediately when Isaac threw the drawing on the floor, a bunch of red flags went off in my head. And I said, that is not Isaac. That is not Isaac. He totally would say to the kids, like, I don't care about you because I have no feelings. Yeah, that would be fine. That's Isaac. But if he took the drawing, and he did, I mean, I could see him not accepting it, or telling the kid that I will only throw it out at the nearest trash receptacle, something to that effect. But if he took it, which he did, he would understand he was doing it for the kid, even if it served no logical purpose for himself. And he would not just throw it on the floor, because it's littering. It's just, who the hell would litter on a spaceship? It's a completely stupid thing to do. Even if he doesn't just throw garbage on the floor, right? I assume somebody's talked to him about that. Garbage goes in a garbage chute or something, I suppose, or a matter, I don't know, transmutifier, whatever that is. It doesn't just go on the floor. So, for multiple reasons, that's just not Isaac. And as soon as that happened, I was like, uh-oh. And I said, wait, what happened? When the primary first opened Isaac, he had some type of like cog-looking, rounded circle, silvery device that he had stuck in Isaac, and then I think he pulled it back out. And I think in that was like their version of a flash drive, that they basically downloaded Isaac memory, consciousness, and then they re-uploaded a fresh robot, but one that had access to all Isaac's memories, so it could successfully pass itself off as Isaac, going to the going away party, or just going to say goodbye to the kids. He wasn't even planning on the go away party, but he just had to pass the test with the kids. So that's what they were doing, and it was just the easiest way to do it, was to make them think it was Isaac, so that the real Isaac is actually on some type of data storage unit. Perhaps they have it with them. Perhaps he put a backup of himself in the Orville computer system, because he's done that before. So I don't know. It's possible. It's got more. I have more trouble seeing how he saves the day in that case. So it's kind of why I prefer that the whole thing is just a simulation. But yeah, it's quite possible that the Isaac who goes back to the ship, the Isaac who takes the picture from Ty, is not the Isaac that has been on the ship. these last year and a half. So, possible for sure. Thomas says, my favorite quote from the new one. Did I get one? I got one, son of a bitch. Yes, as I got shot immediately after getting my first kill. Anti-Tracker says, hey, Kathleen McManus, how are you feeling after the surgery? Recovered yet? I get it. Kathleen says, that chap really likes that Jeep. He sure does. Well, everybody should like that Jeep. That was a beautiful Jeep. Besame? Besame? Is that beautiful in Italian? Besame? You don't know? No. I think it's Besame. I think that's beautiful in Italian. I don't know though. Yes, it's a nice Jeep. It's poetic. It's a rap. It's not a rap. He wasn't rapping. Just because he was black doesn't mean everything he was saying was a rap. And just because I rhyme those two lines doesn't mean I was rapping. Thomas says it's black bird of prey, and Thomas is racist. Racism. I can't take this constant racism. Hector says he has more rhythm than Joe singing, that's for sure. What is this? Be mean to Joe hour? Thank you, Hector. Derek says, I'm good, Anti-Tracker. All I need is a new device. Lols. Thomas says, you're racist for not being black. Oh, boy. Sassy, it's okay, baby. No one's really racist. You're upsetting Sassy. Hector says, how is that racist, Joe? It just is. If you have to ask, you're racist. Anti-Tracker says, wait, Joe is in the Northeast, right? He was never governor of Virginia. No, I can be completely honest. In the 30 years that I was walking on, well, I don't know, 28 years. And when do kids start to walk? 39 years, 29 years, 29 and a half. It was a few months where I had broken foot, so I wasn't walking. Let's say 28 solid years that I was walking on this earth. I did never once put on blackface. I can admit that without any reservations of any type. So I'm totally qualified to be governor of Virginia. Hector says, until you take a bend going too fast. A bend going too fast. Hector, Jeeps are surprisingly resilient, especially that Wrangler. If it turns over, you just flip it back. It'll keep on going. Anti-Trigger says, Joe, you should change your name to Black Bird of Prey 5. Oh, boy. Thomas says, dang. Anti-Tracker says, notice the account he had up on Facebook was Josh Prey. Was it? Was it Josh Prey? Oh, it was, although it was spelt with an A. It was spelt with an A. Yeah, it was close enough. Close enough. But you really got me excited there for a second, Anti-Tracker. Hector says, oh wait, you can't go too fast in a Jeep. Yeah, that's the thing. You really wouldn't be going all that fast in a Jeep Wrangler. Anti-Trigger says, Josh Prey.
Call from Ford X.
Let's see. Hello?
Hello, Joanne?
Oh, hold on one second. Oh, who's calling?
This is
Oh, okay. Hold on. Whoops. Hey. I think we just got some bad news. Of a family friend. Yeah, we did. We did. I'm sorry, guys. I need to end this. Let me see what's going on. Is there? Okay. I can't do the comments. I gotta go. Yeah, there was a death. Family friend. Qapla, guys. I'll be around on Discord later, and I'm sorry about this. We'll be back. Obviously, we'll do this another day. Qapla. Thank you all for watching my video. Please remember to comment, like, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that bell icon. Without it, you won't get notifications of new videos. If you want to visit me, check out my forum at juot.net. I'm also on social media, on Facebook, Twitter, and Gab. And if you're really crazy, you can send me some money on PayPal. Take care.